We all know you've got a limited amount of time in the day. There's only certain things, particularly as a salesperson, that you can focus on and will get your attention. So Jack Daly talks about this idea of the high value tasks. How do you focus in on what a high value task is? So part of it is also understanding this idea of like effectively a high value lead. What are the different types of leads that are coming into the business, and how might you use that to prioritize where your attention goes? So if this is the target, and we know the aim of the game is to hit the center of the target, and the closer we get to the center of the target, the easier it is to sell, the less effort in both time and money at the center of the target for the different types of leads I'm about to identify. The further you get outside of this target, the more expensive it becomes and the longer it takes to convert a lead into a client. So at the center here, and one area that you want to start, like if you're going to focus anywhere, if we're going to focus on the highest valued leads, we always start in the center of the target because you've got a limited amount of time in the day. So let's focus where we're most likely to convert with the least amount of effort. And where that starts at the moment, I'm going to put right in the middle is if you've got someone who has inquired, like an inquired or inquiring lead. So we have on our website the 3 different products, let's say membership, catalyst, concierge. And if you hit buy now or register your interest for concierge, you fill out a 15 question little questionnaire, probably takes you 15 minutes to fill it out, and then you hit inquire. That lead then comes into us. We get a little notification through Slack to say, oh, someone's inquired here. Now that is a really, really hot lead. That's like one of the hottest leads because they've basically said, I've read about the product, I can see the pricing, I'm interested enough to fill out the form and hit submit and answer all of your questions. I'm effectively asking to speak to a salesperson. So these leads here are kind of like those super, super hot leads. Now, the next ring out after that, you would say are past or existing clients. So this might be people that you've worked with in the past. This might be someone who's purchased a book. Maybe they've purchased a little Tripwire product or a little something. They've gone through the Simple Systems blueprint. They've signed up to a System Hub subscription. They've purchased the Systemology book through a book funnel on the ads. Like that would be the next group of people because they've at least taken also enough of a step to say, I'm going to pull out my credit card. I'm interested enough that I think that this is a problem that I'm going to actually do something about it. So that would be the next group of people as we kind of work our way out this target just here. The one after that would then be the database. The database are people who have opted in, but they might not have necessarily made a purchase or something like that, but they've cared enough to give us our name and email. That might be you've downloaded the system for creating systems. You signed up to watch a 4-video series in a masterclass. That might be you heard me speak on a podcast and you've gone to systemology.com/academy to get all the free resources. That's the next pull because they've at least taken enough of an action to say that I'm interested. Also, sometimes people in this database bit here, they might have filled out a quiz. We might have some data about them. We might know, oh, you're a 15-person company and you are the business owner and you've been in business for more than 3 years. And I know you've got a systems problem because you've signed up here. So now you're in my sweet spot. Again, we can target inside the database to find the segments for those that we know match the criteria for the ideal client. So that would be kind of that next ring out. The next ring after that is, I would say, JVs or referrals, joint venture partners. Deal has been done to have Dave go present to an accountant's list and run a webinar about systems. That also, those referral leads are great, but the further we get out from our world, it takes typically longer. And when it's longer, usually that also means it's more costly. For the time, generally, as a rule of thumb, to convert them from I don't really know you potentially to making a significant purchase. Then the last ring out here is usually all of your cold channels. This is running ads on YouTube, Facebook, letter drops, anything where you don't know me from a bar of soap. I've tried to target you and I'm now running something to you to try and grab your attention. That's the furthest ring out. So if I'm going, the reason that out this end is interesting is because there's volume. That's another, also typically a characteristic. The further you get outside of this ring, typically the greater scale you get. On the outside, when we're running Facebook ads, there's potentially millions and billions of people that we can run Facebook ads to. There's only a limited number at the center of the ring for people who've inquired as a lead, as past and existing clients. So you'll notice the audience size gets bigger the further out we go as well. So that's why we still tap into these, because very quickly we will exhaust these and we need to tap into cold to get them into our database to move them further up the chain. So one thing that we need to do, like marketing will do its best job, our marketing team, to keep this getting filled up, to basically keep moving people into the database, to then get them to take a small action, to then kind of move up the chain, if that makes sense. So when you come on as a salesperson and you're thinking about, I have limited time in the day and I need to focus on high value tasks, and really I want to think about where my high value leads are, we start with these ones first and we exhaust all of those opportunities. So things like, maybe past an existing client, whether, at the moment we're not calling the people who purchase a book. Well, that's higher up in this chain. That's something that we should be doing. Or maybe it's the database, we class that as people who've signed up for a System Hub trial. Or you might go, oh no, actually maybe inquired lead is actually System Hub trial because they've signed up to a trial and we know that they're really, really interested. And I'll talk a little bit about where, some of the different channels on how we have things that fall into these different buckets. But in your brain as a salesperson, you start off and you exhaust each one of these and you kind of work your way down, and then you would circle your way back up to the top, and you work your way down and you circle your way back up to the top to make sure you're making the most of the leads that are sitting on your lap before, then you start banging on to marketing and saying, oh, I've exhausted all of this, there's nothing here. Great. Well, marketing then needs to do its job to get more people into the database.